already started. Welcome back to another episode of ApotheKerry, and I am just so excited to be here. I know this episode is going to launch and be uploaded right around Valentine's Day, and what a better theme but to talk about roses, one of my favorite herbs here on the farm. You will hear me say this a lot, that this one's my favorite and this one's my favorite. Okay, roses have one of the highest frequencies. Before we dive in, a lot of announcements, a lot of great things are happening, a lot of things are just birthing, and it's never too late. They arrive just on time. So we launched the Corporate Hippie Oracle. It is a magazine, but we didn't want to name it a magazine, so we named it the Oracle, which is the Corporate Hippie Oracle, and it's short for CHO, and we just love that. Just like Corporate Hippie Connection is CHC, so you might see us reference to that on print or on post. If you are not already following us over at Corporate Hippie Connection, I encourage you to listen. There's no accident why you stumbled across this podcast. Either somebody sent this to you because they knew that you would just love it, or you just stumbled across it because it was meant for you to show up, and nobody's never too late. You show up and arrive just on time. And if you follow me over in the socials, you'll know that I show up every single day. I'm always preaching positive empowerment. I think it's so important to have that outlet, to have somebody preach to you, have me show up and just tell you how incredible you are, because you are. And the more that you dive into the conscious living, and the more you dive into these herbs, the more you're going to want to intake them. I just want to make it really clear, I'm not a doctor, and I talk from experience, and this is pure entertainment purposes. I say that because of, there's other big companies out there that don't want us as a community and as a movement talking about how herbs are medicine. Well, all of the herbs that I grow here, there are medicine, and I intake them every single day. Roses, well, I'm very proud of my roses because they are tea blend roses, and I let them just do their thing. And because this year we really didn't get a winter, our weather is more and more like, I want to say Florida weather, but we don't have lots of, it's not always humid. It is, hot. And right now it's cool, but the sun is always out. So my farm is confused. In fact, we had sunflowers growing year round. It was the craziest thing. We had sunflowers popping up everywhere, all these volunteers. And my farm flow facilitator and I would just look over and just smile when we saw another sunflower pop up and just move where the sun was. And it just gave us this spark of joy through fall and winter. It was just amazing. So roses, we are not in full bloom right now, but the roses that you see here are all roses that we grow on the farm. So I went around right before I knew I was going to film, and I clipped some roses up by my pool, and I clipped some other white roses around there too as well. The ones that are closest to the villa, those ones have rose hips everywhere. In fact, if you look behind me, the set behind me and the frame behind me got a facelift. So this last weekend, my farm flow facilitator, who happens to be an artist and a landscaper, and he creates pure magic. And him and I were working on this while I was moving things around here in the Moroccan room, because we're getting ready to film Kerry Talk for when celebrities and movers and shakers and people that really have a voice and a story to tell, I can interview them here. So my Kerry Talk set is actually on the other side of this. And so we gave the backdrop a facelift, and there are some rose hips in here. We also found turkey tail on the property that we did not plant, that it just started showing up because we used a lot of wood. We had a lot of trees that had to come down that were dead or that were sick. And so we cut them up and we had them moved to this one area in the front, and we made a long, beautiful flower and garden bed out of it. And right now it is blooming turkey tail all over it. I want to also just give gratitude to all of the powerhouses out there, the influencers, the podcast hosts. You know, I watch and listen to a lot of them. There are some new ones, some new personalities here in the United States, and I cannot wait myself to interview them because I really feel they're making a huge impact and bringing people into their power. And with this community, it's all about, well, for me, it's all about walking you home. It's all about really having you recognize the light that is inside of you, because your light is so bright. And I want the world to see how bright your light is. And so my tools in my toolbox bring out the goodness that's inside of you. And I can pretty much dance with any energy. I'm an energy reader. I dance well with energy. I can maneuver energy. And so all the different energies out there, like grief and just feeling stuck. A lot of people call it depression. I call it being detached. I don't like really putting labels on things because I feel like Western medicine and the doctors out there like to just slap a label on you and give you some medication and send you on your way. And a lot of those medications really block you, and you're not really able to feel the full effect of plant medicine when you have blockers or antidepressants in your system. Look, I'm never going to tell you to cold turkey anything. Again, I'm not a doctor, but for me, I am on zero medication. And I am so proud to say that because in 2020, when we started Corporate Hippie Connection, the original show was called the Corporate Hippie Connection Show. And we were filming movers and shakers and authors and celebrities. And then the pandemic hit. And with that came the shots. And that brought a lot of spike proteins into people's systems. And I wish I knew that back then, but because I was in media, I did get the shot. And I just was never the same. After that, I got diagnosed with a thyroid disease. And I am here to tell you today that I have completely weaned myself off of thyroid medication. And I feel great. In fact, I have more energy now than I ever have. And look, you can take in all the supplements and all the herbs, and you still feel stuck. That is, for me, I always like to invite people to go within. And I always ask them, are you open? Are you open to information? Because that is a stuck emotion that lives inside of you. And I always encourage people to take that invitation to go in and really maneuver and dance with that emotion that may no longer serve you, right? So let's dive into roses, and let's talk about the roses that I grow here on the farm. I have two different blends. Let's start with the Bohemian blend. This is our Bohemian blend, and if you're watching me on Spotify, you will see these beautiful colors. They're gorgeous, gorgeous. Let me open this other jar because it has a wooden bamboo spoon in it, because I don't like to touch it, because I don't like to cross-contaminate. The energy here when we're harvesting this, it's depends on what we are going to be doing in the future. What ceremonies are we going to be doing? Is this going to be the tea blend that we drink on a daily basis? This is our manifesting blend, but we call it our bohemian blend because it's all the colors that we grow except for two. And it looks like this. I'll go ahead and put this in my hand because I'll go ahead and use this. We don't waste anything here, but it's just so beautiful. Now, the smell, the aroma is very floral. This blend is a strong floral blend. And this blend was gifted to a tea master locally here. And he actually told me these are the best tea roses he's ever had in his life. And he has traveled the world. And for me, that is the biggest compliment a girl could ever get, with something that she grows and hand harvests herself. So nobody harvests these roses except for myself. And I make sure that I have clear intentions and that I'm sending out the energy that I want with that intention. And as I'm picking the roses, I put them on these big bamboo trays and I let the sun just dry them out naturally. And this is what you get. Now the other blend, let me go ahead and put that over here. The other blend that, I gotta say this. I was watching a podcast the other day. Sorry to interrupt and just totally go off subject. It could be a little bit of the ADD and the OCD in me. When we moved the set around this past weekend, we moved the cushion. So my bum is a little uncomfortable. And I was watching this podcast the other day and she was talking about just go with it. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. And it's so true. It's like, okay, my bum hurts. I want to talk about it. So excuse me for getting a little bit more comfortable here. And for my editor, don't cut this out because I think this is important. I think it's important to talk about when things aren't perfect. Like I said, no one's late to the party. You're showing up right on time. But make sure when you show up that you're showing up in your best outfit, that you're showing up completely unapologetically yourself. What sparks joy for you? So you'll notice that today I do not have my headdress on. It is definitely here, but I'm not wearing it because I'm also shooting a photo that will be going into the Oracle for the February edition of the publications. And we will be talking about roses. So when you hear this episode, the publications will be out and you'll be able to see it on the Corporate Hippie Connection website. Just look on top, you'll see magazine. You can press on it. It is a digital magazine, except for the people that are on the cover of the magazine do get a copy of themselves in that magazine. They get a framed copy. And I can't even contain the excitement and the energy of the people that we have lined up on the covers of these magazines. I'm talking people that have lived through it, or they have a story, and whatever they're doing right here, right now, if it's in the music industry or if they're an influencer, spreading out positive energy. Everybody has a story and they have a story to tell, and those stories help and just give that positive empowerment and really just walk people home. That's why we're here. I really feel like this collective that we have going on here at Corporate Hippie Connection, we are taking our tools out of our toolbox and walking you home. Let's talk about the second blend. So the second blend, can anybody guess what the name of this blend is? And this is what we use for ceremonies. This is called the Goddess Rose Blend. And if you notice, this has more of a golden sunlight with this. Now these have 3 different rose colors that are in here. And this has a different scent. You know, I was smelling it before I started filming, and I realized this is very, very floral, the Bohemian blend. And the Goddess blend has got more, I don't even talk over it because words are so powerful, right? And when people talk, people don't realize this, they spit. Yes, I don't care what you say, I've seen it. When you're speaking, little saliva comes out of your mouth and it goes in front of you. And so you never want to talk over food, especially when you're about to serve something to somebody or their tea. You kind of want to go back and speak. So you'll notice I do that a lot. And if you're somebody that's, you know, been a part of a retreat or a ceremony here, or even working one-on-one and I make you tea, you'll notice I don't speak over your little goodies that you get. So the smell, I have to smell it to explain it. Let me take a nice whiff. Wow, just wow. So let's just talk about the frequency for a minute. Let's get off of the scent. The scent is powerful. It's not floral. Yes, there's floral, obviously. It's a rose. It's got the floral notes. But there's something so special about it, and I can't even pinpoint it. So roses have one of the highest frequencies that herbs can carry. And it is 320 megahertz. And I don't want to leave anything out, so you're going to see me with my reading glasses. Let's see here. Yes, 320 megahertz. And, you know, look it, I'm sure there are people out there that can get that up. And if it can be higher, I know I have it because of the way these roses are cared for. We do not use any pesticides at all on the farm. They cannot spray on our street. In fact, everyone that lives on this street, we all own the road, and I have no spray signs in the front fencing that surrounds my property. That's just not allowed. It's not tolerated, and we do not do that. Now listen, if I need to get rid of weeds, yes, we do it the old-fashioned way. But if it's like a driveway or a walkway, we will spray vinegar with water and a little salt, and we will kill the weeds. But I gotta tell you, a lot of weeds that people call weeds that grow on the land are medicinal. And I got to tell you a funny story. So I send I think it was white milk thistle. I might be saying that wrong. I sent the benefits of this herb to my farm flow facilitator. And we were taking a walk about a month ago on the farm. And he said, "You see that right there? You know that weed that you don't like?" And I'm talking, it's this green, big weed with spikes on it with white veins. He said, "That is the milk thistle that you were talking about that you wanted to grow because of the benefits." And guess what, Carrie? It's everywhere, and he's right. I've been slowly, since I have lived here, and I've lived here a long time, I've been slowly trying to get rid of it, and now it's coming back in patches in certain areas. So I said, "So should we keep it?" And he's like, "No, we're going to get rid of a lot of it because, I mean, it spreads, but we should start harvesting it." And so I was really excited about that. I'm always sending new herbs that I can't even pronounce because of the benefits to him. So, I mean, I've got my wish list. Every year we add, every single year. I can't even count on my hands how many we grew last year. I think that we added, the minimum amount that we added was probably 20 more medicinal herbs. Yes. And he's introduced me to so many beautiful herbs. And he'll say, hey, go put this in your pot on your balcony. And I'm like, yes, this is just so exciting. So I go shopping in my own nursery. Well, it's his nursery. I let him say it's his nursery because he's so passionate about it and he cares for all the plants. And I'm inside creating and filming and traveling and creating content and coaching. And really, truly, I've got to give credit where credit is deserved. He's in there and he's the one that's caring for all those starters and the plants. And he'll take sick plants and put them in the nursery and nurse them back to health and then replant them. He's amazing. I mean, look at the work that he's done. I know this is kind of cut off. So anyway, if the rose would speak, and I was thinking about this, and I really wanted to just have the rose speak to you. So I'm going to read this because this is something that I really went deep with in meditation, and I really want you to know how powerful the rose is. I do not arrive to save you. I arrive to remind you. I love that. You were never broken. You were never unlovable. You were never meant to harden to survive. I soften what the world asked you to armor. I reopen what you close to keep going. I restore rhythm where you learn to brace. You do not need to rush your healing. You do not need to earn your rest. You do not need to abandon yourself to belong. Come back into your chest. Let your breath land where you left. You do not need to abandon yourself to belong. Come back into your chest. Let your breath land where you left. Let your heart remember it is safe to feel again. I think it's so important to know that that is what the rose speaks. And the rose always wants you to embody the priestess energy. You know, a lot of people call people queens. A lot of people call themselves a queen. Are you a queen? Are you a priestess? Are you a goddess? You can be whatever you want to be. You can show up in this world any way you want. In fact, I encourage you to really step into who you be. Don't be afraid of what anybody else thinks. And just if I could give any bit of advice, if you're working with high frequency, listening to high frequency music, taking in high frequency foods, drinking mocktails, because alcohol is one of the lowest frequencies that you can possibly put in your body. You can do your own research. I am very passionate about drinking mocktails and putting medicine in our bodies. And so when you're putting stuff in your body, think about it. If you're eating fast food, what frequency does this hold? Because you are what you eat. You are what you drink. I was just speaking to a beautiful gal who you'll meet in the Oracle for February. We talked about water and the power, how powerful water is. And the people who truly love themselves, who are really just coming back and really just falling in love with themselves over and over and over again, drink a lot of water. Somebody that drinks a lot of water cares about their being. The people that say, oh, I don't have time, I forget, It's because they're living outside of themselves. And I'm here to tell you, come home to yourself. Take a deep breath. Every night I go to bed with a 32-ounce glass full of water that I speak my gratitude into, of all the everything that I'm grateful for that day. It's so important. I think that is so important to tell God and the universe how grateful you are. The more grateful you are, the more shows up in abundance for you. And so I give my gratitude, I drink my water, I close it up, and in the morning when I awake, that is the first thing I put in my stomach. I drink the gratitude. That's how I start my day. I put my hands over my head and I say, today is going to be a great day. I claim it. And now I've been recently talking to the brain, because the brain is in control of everything. And I say, brain, today is going to be our best day of our lives. Brain, today, nothing but incredible things are going to happen. So let's dive a little bit more into roses, because I could just talk about positive empowerment all day. It like oozes out of me, and I just really want people to feel good. Happy girls are the prettiest girls. Happy people. Have you ever noticed somebody just walking down the street? They're wearing some funky glasses and they got just this extra step in their walk. They feel great, and you look over and you smile. That's an exchange of energy. They're coming into your, what do I want to say? Into your world, into your day, into your moment. And you guys are exchanging an energy that, because you guys are on the same frequency. And if you're not, he or she is there to remind you. It's a sign to remind you that you have arrived on time. Keep on going. Keep shining your light. Okay, let's see what I forgot. We don't want to forget anything. Let's see. Roses supports the nervous system. Yes, it does. And it really basically just goes in and eases the stress. It works on your nervous system. It helps your chest and your solar plex. And she really just arrives in your body and mitigates what your body needs. I feel like roses come in and just expand you. It just comes in and just gives your light a little exfoliation, and you just feel good. It's like you going and getting a little trim, or you trim your nails, or you exfoliate your body. The roses goes in and does the same exact thing. She is just, for me, I feel like she is a goddess in her own right. And I really look up and bow down to the roses. And when I take her bud off, I let her come into her full bloom. And right before she's going to start closing up and start to wilter and fall to the ground, that's when I grab her. And I say to her, thank you. Thank you for your beauty. Thank you for your intelligence. Thank you for your frequency. Thank you for your gift set. And I twist and I pull her and I leave her whole on the basket. I don't take her from the pod. And the reason why is because her petals are still attached. And I don't want to shock her, and I don't want to put her in stress. And so I leave her there, and she knows now. She knows what her next purpose is. Now she is the medicine. And so I encourage you to really take in the moments and listen to the signs. Today, after listening to this, you're going to see bright pinks and reds, and you're going to see roses. I know you will, because it's in your self-conscious now, and you know how powerful the rose is. I love you. Thank you for following ApotheKerry. Please do not forget to leave a review. I read every single one, and I can't wait to see you on the next episode. Have a beautiful day. See you.